A well-defined thought helps us to do a better coding. Hi, my name is Ram and I'm your Business Analyst Pandit. In today's quick presentation, let us see how to design a flowchart. When I say flowchart is a schematic representation of an algorithm or a program. A schematic representation literally means the diagrammatic representation. The program could be simple or it could be complex based on the given requirement. The BA designs the flowchart to explain the functionality of the system. In the interest of time, I have already designed a flowchart for the user story which is available here. Let me also explain you the user story. Here I will be sharing you a real-time business case and I will also explain you how I have designed my flowchart. This is a very simple flowchart and for the purpose of my demo I have used Lucidchart. I also assume that you would have an account. If not, please go and create one. Else you may also use Microsoft PowerPoint which also have got good flowchart shapes. For the purpose of this demo, let us take a real-time business requirement. Our customer has given us a requirement to develop a job portal website. Our customer is expecting that the user should browse the website using a URL. The user shall log into the job portal using the user's credential, that is the username and password. If the credentials are valid, the user will be authorized to sign in and will be allowed to visit his profile page. If the credentials are incorrect, then the sign-in process is recursive. If the user does not have a user account, then the user may need to register their account and the user will also need to validate their registered email ID. On successful email verification, the user will be authorized to sign in. Else, on the sign-in page, the user should get a prompt, please verify your requirement. So this is the business requirement given by our customer. Now, before I explain you the user story and the flowchart which we have designed, let me explain you the types of boxes that we have utilized for this flow diagram. The first box is called as the process flow box. A process flow box is also called as an action or activity box. Any action that is performed by an actor or by the system is described using the process flow box. The next box is called as the decision box. It is also called as a condition box. The symbol expects us to take a decision, typically an yes or no answer, and based on the decision it will allow us to change the logic of the flow. The next box that we utilized in this flow diagram is the Terminator box. So this symbol describes the income and outcome of the given scenario. Any given scenario should begin with a start or stop. So this is the Terminator box. The next symbol that we utilized in our process flow diagram is the predefined process. So the name has an answer, so it is a set of subroutines that will run parallelly in some other place and gets invoked when a related activity gets triggered. The next type of box that we would be utilizing in our flowchart is the database box. So the database box is used to store the information of a particular user or a particular entity. So the next type of box that we utilized in this flowchart is the display box. So the display box is used to broadcast or share a message on a particular system. So each and every box has its own purpose, and I will share a later video of explaining each and every boxes. So now coming back to our flowchart, so let me explain you the user story for the business requirement. Here we have designed two user stories, one explaining what if a customer already has an account, and the next user story explains what if a customer does not have an account and how he would need to register his account and what will happen post registration. Now let me explain you the first user story. As a user, I want to log into my job portal site so that I can log into my profile page. The scenario and acceptance criteria for this user story is I'm going to open a browser and provide the job portal URL. The browser displays the job portal website. On the sign in page, I need to provide my username and password and click on login button. If my credentials are valid, I will be asked to see my profile page. If my credentials are invalid, I'll be asked to enter my correct credentials. Here the flowchart begins with the Terminator box and we have labeled the Terminator box as start. Any algorithm or flowchart should always begin with the start. The next box is the process box. Here the user browses the job portal website. On the website, if the user has an account, he would go to the sign in page and he provides the username and password. If the password is correct, he logs into his profile page. Now the algorithm stops. If the user provides a wrong password, then the decision box takes him back to the sign in page where he needs to provide his correct username and password, and the process is recursive. Now I have totally forgot to tell you about one more box which we have used in this flowchart. This is called the manual input box, so which is available here. So the manual input box is used when the user actually feeds his credentials manually, and that is the reason why we have used manual input box. Again, there is one more input box called as the data input and output. So this is used when the data is fed as a result of a parameterized value. So in this case, this is not the correct box which we have used, but we need to take off this box and we need to incorporate this box because this is the data output of this decision, right? So let's rename this box it as profile page. Here the next user story explains, as a user, I want to register an account with a job portal site so that I can log into my profile page. The scenario and the acceptance criteria for this user story is, I am going to account registration page. The job portal page expects me to provide the first name, last name, email ID, the mobile number, password and confirm password. After clicking on the create button, I will get an email verification. If I verify my mail ID, I will be allowed to sign in with my verified mail ID. Else, the system will display a message, please verify your email ID in the sign in page. Now coming back to the flow diagram, the user now does not have an account. The user now goes to the account registration page and provides all his user information and clicks on create button. The moment the user clicks on create button, all the information is sent to the database and a predefined process is triggered asking the user to verify the user email ID. Failing to verify the user email ID, the system still has the user information and the email ID in its database will understand the user is using an email ID which is not yet verified, and hence the sign in page will ask the user to verify his email ID. And that is the reason why we have given a display message stating that the sign in page will display a message called as please verify your email ID if the user is not verifying his email. If the user has successfully verified his email ID, he has all the rights to provide his user credential, and if the user credential is correct, he is taken to his profile page and the algorithm again stops here. The purpose of this presentation is to give you an idea of how to design a flowchart for a basic requirement. I request you to please subscribe to my channel for more videos and podcasts like this.